On to our next West Coast stop is when Bill Belichick said, next up, University of Washington. We've got to put the Oregon game behind us. Obviously, did a lot of good things. Had a tremendous night shooting the basketball. But I thought it was more, our coaches doing a great job in terms of game planning, being able to pull Biddle away from the basket a little bit. Then I thought it was a really, really good defensive effort. We had 33 points in under 7 seconds, which is us getting out doing what we do really well, which is run. And you combine that with a pretty solid night. We held their 3-point shooters, Bartholomew and Shellstad and Angel down, which was a big key. So a lot of really positives. Now it's on to the next, and Washington is coming off an emotional win against Maryland, a game that truly they played great. This is a team that under Danny, they're getting much better. They're very, very good defensively. They'll try to be very methodical, slow things down a little bit. And then they have one of the really gifted offensive players in the Big Ten in Osabar. And got a great game from Diallo, their freshman, All-American kid. And so this team is finding its way. It's getting better, and looking forward to having us to play really well from an emotional standpoint, and we've got to be up for the challenge.
What's important in your years of doing this to have that not be a letdown? Like, how do you gauge that your team's in the right mindset?
I hope it's because we practice every day. It's that everyday guys mentality. We don't ever take swings, emotional swings from practice. We try to be really consistent in what that looks like, and we may not be out there 2.5 hours. Some days it may be an hour and a half. But that intensity has to be there every single day. This team has handled that pretty well to this point. We've got to keep building momentum. I think that's one of the things that we're talking about a lot, getting better. It was nice to see some balls go in, and let's continue that. We're going to do that against a team that has great size, great length, and doesn't want to give up threes. So I hope by what we do every day, we're preparing ourselves and our team the best we can to not have off nights emotionally.
I guess if Washington wants to slow things down, you want to pick up the pace when it's a clash of styles like that. How do you navigate, maybe enforce what you want to do a little bit?
Yeah, we won't worry about it too much. I think we've seen one of the slower teams in the country in Oakland. We've seen a team in Little Rock that, is very methodical, very slow. Northwestern, plays that way. We've got to be really good defensively so we can defensive rebound and then get out and run. When you try to force tempo and do crazy things that are out of character, what you do is end up giving them easy baskets. You take the ball out of the net, and then you face a set defense all the time. And we're just we're going to be who we are. We'll pick our opportunities to run. Hopefully, it's off defensive rebounds, and then we've got to execute in the half court when we need to.
What have you liked about Trey recently? It seemed bragging rights was a spark for him. Chicago State, obviously, and then Oregon as well. He's put together a nice string.
Decisive. He's been really decisive. There's been no hesitation. I told him this morning, he made the pass he made to Trey, he threw out of bounds. It was the only play that I thought he was indecisive. I think he saw it two dribbles earlier and should have thrown it and didn't, and it was kind of an indecisive play. But he hasn't hesitated. Unbelievable burst. I mean, the one-on-one opportunities he had, the ability to drive the ball downhill. With that burst were special, and it's nice to see that decisiveness out of him.
You talked about Trey, so I'm after the Oregon game, but just like I don't know, it just seemed like he just got that double, and it wasn't a lot of fanfare. He wound up with 21 and 11 or something.
Yeah, that's Trey. You know, I mean, we run certain actions to him. He's a very good screener, very good cutter. It's amazing, you know, when you go to the offensive glass, how the ball finds you. It just found him on 2 or 3 occasions. Great shape now. I mean, it was impressive to see how hard he ran the floor to get layups and to get rewarded for that. You know, that's what our guards do, is deliver it. And you know, he's guarding the other team's biggest wing and best wing, and you start combining all of that together, and he's turning into a heck of a two-way player.
You talked about the toughness of Jake and that you didn't want to fight him. It seems like that second unit, Trey, Merez, you've got a couple of those guys that are kind of like that.
Yeah, they're really buying into their roles, and I think we've got a defensive stalwart in Merez. Not that you know, Draven can come in and really pester you, you know, and then Jake just has got a physicality and a toughness, and then he's very smart and cerebral. Will gives you that nice offensive punch. A guy who can get it to any spot he wants, and then he's got great length on the perimeter as well. So guys are buying into their roles. You know, Jake just did everything right. The ball found him because he did everything right, and got a couple easy layups and got one on an out of bounds play because he executed. And that's all we can ask for. You know, Jake is trying really hard to do the things we ask to help us win, and that's really hard sometimes that's really hard for guys to do.
I know you recruited